Now we take a look at news stories making headlines around the globe. People's Democratic Party, PDP, yesterday said the governors and others who were abandoning the platform that brought them to power would soon regret their actions. PDP accused governors defecting from its fold to the ruling All Progressives Congress of greed, selfishness and covetousness, insisting that Nigerians would ultimately decide their fate in the 2027 general election. The opposition party maintained that it was not governors who made the political party, but the people. Since the 2023 general election, 4 governors had left PDP: Sheriff Oborori of Delta State, Umar Eno of Akwa Ibom State, Peter Mba of Enugu State, and Duye Diri of Bayelsa State. While the first 3 left immediately for APC, Diri, who recently resigned his membership of PDP, had yet to announce the party he was going to. The Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, NUPRC, made a total payment of 6.215 trillion naira to the Federation account between January and September 2025, consolidating its position as one of the federal government's biggest revenue contributors this year. The figure presented in the Commission's latest revenue report to the Federation Account Allocation Committee, FAC, held in Abuja on October 16, 2025, reflecting the cumulative transfers to the Central Bank of Nigeria during the period under consideration. According to the report seen by this day, the amount transferred in September 2025 alone was 741.99 billion naira, representing 61.59% of the Commission's approved monthly revenue budget of 1.204 trillion naira. Last year, the NUPRC reported that it generated a revenue of 12.25 trillion naira, representing a 282% increase from the 4.34 trillion naira generated in 2023. Also, the upstream regulator said it generated 3.7 trillion naira in 2022, which much lower than the other succeeding years. The total sum remitted to FAC by the NUPRC is so far was about 11.4% of Nigeria's 2025 national budget of roughly 55 trillion naira, forming a critical portion of the country's fiscal base and helping the government implement infrastructure plans, fund social programs, and support economic growth under the budget. All right. Okay, let's take the stories this morning. Bimbai, Rufai, good morning. I think there's a bug in Lagos, which I think across Nigeria, across apparently. But let's start with the stories this morning. It won't stop us from, analyzing and discussing some of the issues before us this morning. So the first, of course, is around politics. PDP is fighting to stay alive despite the defections, the gale of defections that they've seen in recent times. And of course, some news from NUPRC about their contributions to FAC and the increase in that regard. Your take on this, Wimbai?
Right, well, let's begin with the politics of the day, I believe, as of course PDP continues to make headlines, unfortunately, for what many would say not the right reasons. It's now stretching into a period of years that we're yet to see any positive or progressive movement coming from the PDP. Well, don't mind the pun of me calling it progressive movement, because there's a lot of movement of governors to the progressive parties, as it is known as. But let's focus on the issues of the day. Now, can you blame the PDP governors? In one breath, we can say that they are weak and they are not prepared to stand their ground, that they have no faith in their endorsement from the people, that they don't believe that the grassroots will stand for them, whether they're with PDP or any other party. But in the other breath, you start to see the developments in the party unfold and you ask, well, can you blame them for making the moves they're making? What are the developments over the weekend? The most recent one is the fact that the national secretary of the party as it stands, Ayamu, is making an allegation that all the correspondence that was made to INEC concerning the national convention contained a forged specimen of his signature. He said that is not his signature. Now, this jeopardizes the entire national convention. Not only does it jeopardize that, it takes us back to the issue that we unpacked last week, where we said, what is the assurance that anybody running on the banner of PDP, that they will be able to actually pass through the primaries and be endorsed as a candidate in the election, given the fact that the dispute centers around the national secretary? So this is just I believe, a sample of some of the trouble that the PDP governors are trying to avoid, because it is totally unfathomable. And this is the second or third instance we're hearing allegations of forged signatures, specifically from the national secretary. Now, of course, the next conversation we now have to have is around the fact that what happens when the parties that are vying to become government fail so woefully when it comes to internal democracy? If a party is failing to institutionalize itself, how will it now be able to institutionalize the various aspects of governance in order to be able to provide the dividends of democracy to Nigerians who choose to vote for it? So PDP continues to dance around in this circle where we ask ourselves, what is the way forward? Over the weekend, there were also reports that some stalwarts of the party have said that they are now willing to create coalitions with relevant opposition parties. Of course, we know that over the past few months, especially when the ADC came to prominence, that PDP was adamant that it would not be joining forces with anybody. But now it looks like the writing on the wall is forcing them into a corner where they now realize that a divided opposition is detrimental to any headway being made in our forthcoming election. Apart from that, PDP within itself, unfortunately, has been left as a shell. So we continue to wait and see what will happen with these allegations of forgery of signatures from Ayamu, and whether the convention will actually be able to hold, given this very drastic development. And then, of course, we now wait to see whether there will be a coalition. But in all of this, one wants to ask the question, where do we go from here? If internal democracy is unable to thrive within the political parties that are supposed to be schools of democracy, that are supposed to be the bedrock of where democracy is institutionalized, and they're failing to do so internally, leading to what we call oligarchic democracy. Because if you cannot do it within your party, how will you do it on the national platform within government? Very quickly, NUPRC, FAC continues to be a big conversation this year. If we're saying that our oil receipts are contributing around 11% of our total budget, then number one, the conversation needs to be had around what this budget is being converted to, especially when it is shared through FAC allocations. That's the first question on that. The other highlight that came from this report is that a number of these receipts are coming from Project Gazelle. Project Gazelle, forward sales. This is oil we're yet to realize. This is a debt that we took up in collaboration with Afrexim Bank and NNPCL. So we are enjoying receipts from sweat we are yet to perspire. The question is, where is the accountability for that money? It's great to see these numbers, but now as the money is dispersed to various sectors of governance, whether it be the governors, whether it be the local governments, whether it be the portion that goes into the fiscal as part of the national budget, again, I say, this is sweat we are yet to perspire. Now, there needs to be accountability as to how this money is utilized.
Absolutely. Thank you. Rufai, your take on these stories?
Okay. I'll start by giving tribute to Raila Odinga that was buried over the weekend. Baba was finally buried, and it has thrown up a lot of possibilities of what will happen in Kenya. And I also like to quickly give a quick tribute to Alexo, the popular musician that turned 60. But why did I mention Raila Odinga? His father wrote a book called Not Yet Uhuru, which says, not yet freedom yet, because of the challenges a lot of Kenyans were facing. With PDP, is not yet Uhuru. And I see a party that one man is imploding gradually. And that man has so much power. Many months ago, I said Wike is the god of PDP. A lot of people thought I was joking. I don't just say words if I can back them up. The next ploy by the PDP to get out of this entanglement or this entrapment is to be able to do a national convention. Those that are close to Nyesom Wike are ensuring that it doesn't happen. Pure and simple. All of a sudden, Anyanwu remembers that his signature on all the correspondence of INEC were forged. All of a sudden. So this Anyanwu remembering that his signature were forged also coincides with the earlier plan of taking the case to court, where the National Legal Advisor and the party chairman, Damagu, were fighting. They were at loggerheads for who is going to represent the PDP in courts. So there's a battle going on in the courts. Anyanwu all of a sudden remembers. And when we told the PDP then that this Anyanwu concession you made, a man that went to run for governor in Imo, that finally did come back and get his seat back against Udo Okoye, it will put you people in problem. They thought I was joking. I have quoted Winston Churchill here many times that says, "An appeaser is he that gives a crocodile meat, hoping the crocodile will eat them last." And that's what has happened to the PDP. Because Anyanwu that went to run for governor, if he had been successful, will he come back and think of the PDP seats? But everybody thinks the way to solve the problem of Wike in the PDP is by kowtowing to Wike. And that's why you see, when people are not bold in this world, they will eat feces. And the PDP is eating feces as we speak. Fecal matter. And we told them this will happen. As we speak today, if they finally do that convention, it will be a miracle. Because this is how they will rigmarole to the date of the convention. The convention is 15th and 16th, right, of next month. Secondly, other governors are getting afraid. I've got news for you. More governors will even say they were going to go this week. Let me give you a hint, probably from the northern part in this time around. I will not mention the particular states. Some senators from that state are going to take a walk. Everybody is going to tilt towards the APC. It's not that they love to decamp. Politicians don't like uncertainty. You know why they don't like uncertainty? Because it's for their own political interests. And the heart and the soul of the party is being pressed by the centripetal forces of the people that they encouraged over the years. We will see, and I keep talking about the likes of Seyi Makinde. We will see how the likes of Seyi Makinde, that wants to now become a hero with this convention, will hold that convention. Because when Seyi Makinde was following Mr. Wike and other people to destroy the party because they didn't want Atiku that time, they forget to realize that when you throw a stone into the markets, it comes back to hit somebody that is close to you. So now he wants to consolidate the party now because he has presidential ambition. And people that he did it with then are saying, no, we will not let this party be. We'll keep pressing the neck of the party. So that's what you do. The day you continue to take insults and you can't stand up for yourself, it's like eating fecal matter. Today, the PDP is chewing fecal matter. Please pardon my French or pardon my English this morning for the sake of those watching. But I just wanted to use words to paint a picture of what is going on in the PDP and what will continue. Please, never you take assault or any form of bullying or any form of hurt from anybody. Learn to speak up for yourself. The PDP is learning the hard way today. As regards the next matter, NUPRC, yes, a lot of numbers are coming out. We keep seeing all these big numbers. But the question is, at the same time also, we're also seeing a country where the Minister of Health is complaining that only 11% of his budget can be funded. So the question is, why this talk about government making so much money if we can't fund the budget and we are running 3 concurrent budget cycles? Who are we deceiving? Why this talk about making so much in revenue? When we needed to service our Eurobonds recently, we left our reserves and we went for borrowing. We are making so much revenue, hence borrowing is still increasing in alarming proportion. So what's the kind of mathematics we are doing? What's the econometrics? What is this Tinubunomics about, really? Because I don't get it. We talk about inflation coming down, but we don't see the effect in the lives of people. All we do is green shoots with data. We change the data parameter Today, they will reduce the weighted average of food in inflation baskets. And what is happening? We are seeing, yes, inflation is coming down, but go to the markets. People are still being thrown into poverty. Maybe very soon we'll understand what Tinubunomics means. But congrats, NUPRC. I just wish NNPC can show us figures and show workings like NUPRC is also doing.
Talking about the NNPC, let me start from that. They still have an outstanding, they finally released the report of the unremitted 42 or unaccounted for $42.3 million. And so it's important for us to say that, remember that the Governors Forum had hired Periscope Consulting to look into the books of NNPCL, saying that there was an amount of money that was not accounted for up to the tune of $42.3 million. This was also reviewed in the report as we're celebrating NUPRC and talking about the contributions they've made to FAC, meaning more revenue for federal, state, and local governments to spend on infrastructure, on making better the lives of their constituents. We must also look at monies that under a period of time was not accounted for. It's said to be now before the National Assembly under the relevant committees, and they're looking to, they are going to evaluate the report and let Nigerians know what happened with the amount of money that was not, accounted for. I think in the spirit of accountability and transparency, Nigerians deserve to know what really happened. Where did the $42.3 million go to? Billion actually, not million. $42.3 billion was the amount of money. And I believe that Nigerians deserve to know where that money went to. But despite the 6.2 trillion naira, if you read the report, they actually did 0.43% less than they did in August of this year. They've put this down to fluctuating oil outputs, and that's why we've often talked about the target, which is said to be 2 million barrels per day, and hitting that target before the end of this year. How plausible is it? Are we looking at another year again? And then it speaks further to the conversation whilst we're celebrating NUPRC for being the major contributor to FAC, and of course resources available for the government to do their work. We also look at diversifying of the economy. If only we can talk about the same spirit for other agencies that are revenue generating for the government, then we can imagine how much money can go into servicing or fulfilling the budget, or the three budgets that are running concurrently. But like you mentioned, I think what is most important for Nigerians, I know the numbers bandied around. I did mention the first time we talked about how much money FAC was distributing to the governors at the end of last month, that we need to really x-ray microscopically what the governors are doing with the funds allocated to them, what the local governments are doing with the funds allocated to them. Oftentimes the focus is on the center, but we need to begin to also analyze, if we're saying we're getting more money, who are the people benefiting? Where is the benefit for those who are the most vulnerable in society? What is happening with the Ministry for Poverty Alleviation? What is happening with that, especially with regards to the fact that now the former minister for that ministry is now the chairman of the APC. So there's a gap there. If we're looking at consolidating on the wins by this administration based on the economic report of the nation currently, we must also look at making the most vulnerable, providing a cushion, a safety net for the most vulnerable. And that's one key area that we keep missing, and this administration hasn't gotten right. So money and headlines are great, but even greater is the effect on the lives of the common man, of the people of Nigeria, who unfortunately are yet to testify that these gains have gotten them really far. And now let me go back to politics with regards to the PDP and what they said at the spate of, or the gale of defections, or they are going to regret it. A number of people have attributed what's happening in the PDP, and if we're being honest with ourselves, the failings or the decline, the rapid decline of the PDP in recent times to, the machinations of a particular person, Jagaban is working, a strategist. But the truth is that the challenges of the PDP didn't just start with this administration. We recall that during the 2023 elections, we began to see the signs of, or the symptoms of, an ailing party. First, the G5 was set up as a result of the fact that a group of people said that the PDP as its core was not listening to its principal actors, was deaf to the cries or the wishes of the principal actors. They had said the zoning issue was a problem, and one man's ambition was going to bring the party to its knees. Interestingly, the man has now left the PDP now and gone to another party to pursue his interests. Beyond that, the Southeast have complained. Meanwhile, the Southeast has no PDP governor currently, that the PDP was also marginalized in the Southeast. There are a number of agreements that were made, especially with regards to the appointment of the National Secretary, was ignored, and so they couldn't continue anymore. So I wonder, when you have internal wranglings like this that have not been fixed, what the governors who have defected are going to miss, or what they are going to be regretting come 2027, when if the PDP is not careful, there will be hardly a shadow of a party left to actually be viable for an election. And in fact, many of the governors who have left have said that they did it in the best interest, or in their best political interest, because the PDP currently is in disarray, and you cannot build something on nothing. And so perhaps rather than coming out to try to save face, I mean, that's the job of the Deputy Publicity Secretary, National Publicity Secretary. It is perhaps time to look internally and see what they can do to deal with internal indiscipline in the party, deal with some of the issues around the party being centered around one man, fix the party, and then be more viable for candidates to want to come and run on that platform. Beyond coming out to say that, oh, they're going to regret his greed, it's beyond greed. It's actually that the PDP is in disarray and you cannot build something on nothing.